So we're going to head into our after hours segment of tonight, sponsored by Thin Man Brewery. And I'll let you introduce your friend.
Our friend.
Our friend.
Everyone's friend.
The wonderful and talented
We're reversing roles here.
Peter Gallivan.
Ah, yes.
Channel 2 and the Jim Fink Media All-Stars Weekend Skate leading scorer for the last 23 years.
Leading shooter, anyway, that's for sure. Well, thanks for having me. This is, once again, just amazing what you guys pull together every year. And with what was thrown in your way this year, to be able to get this many people out, get this type of venue activated, and on top of that, surpass $1 million one more time during a global pandemic. It's just amazing.
Yeah,
just amazing.
Well, it's players like you that get us there.
Oh, no, it's players. You haven't watched me play very much, have you?
I meant the fundraising aspect.
Oh, there you go. All right.
So,
I
Pete,
will give you that.
You've been able to watch the live stream the last couple of days. You've sent me some messages of encouragement. How are we doing for people that have never done something like this before?
You're doing great. You're doing great.
Are you lying?
The real trick is getting up at 2:30 in the morning and being on at 4:30, and then that's the longevity. Next year we'll start the show at 4:30 a.m.
Oh.
Right? We'll do the live stream in the other part of the day.
Okay.
But no, you know, as I told you before, I said that's a long time to be on the air. I don't think a lot of people realize that, to produce a 2-minute story is about 8 man-hours. It takes a lot of work just to put on 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes of TV, and you guys are doing it with no experience. 4 hours. It's just.
Well, we have a lot of help.
I thought you guys were nuts when you told me the idea, but I was, always encouraging. But you guys have just knocked it out of the park so far.
Well, Jason and Mark from Uplifter are the ones that are doing all the work. We just, they tell us what to say, and here we are.
I mean,
but like I told you, don't forget, you guys are the experts. So, I mean, you know everything there is to know about this event and how it was created, and it's, it's grown. I'm just honored to be a small part of it. But I remember when you told me the idea you had, and everyone around you went, "Oh, okay, Mike, 11 days, okay, great." And it's become very quickly such a huge part of Buffalo, and it's such a Buffalo event. Guys getting together and ladies getting together to play hockey until they drop, and then hydrate with protein shakes and water and that sort of thing. But yeah, it's just an amazing event, and I think the true testament to how great this type of thing is the amount of cash you guys bring in every year. I mean, more than $5 million in 4 years. It's just incredible.
We've got a great community. I mean, it's incredible to see each year. We get new teams return, but then we do whatever we can to add time. We went into the 12th day, but it was still within the 11th, or the 11 days. So we were able to, accommodate, originally 184 teams this year.
Yeah.
Wow.
We did lose some teams based on the change of time and people going back to work and on vacations, but
not being able to travel from out of town.
And with the red state, the states that were people weren't allowed to come back in without quarantine for 2 weeks, we lost players because of that.
Yeah. Right.
But we're grateful for them following those guidelines.
Well, and also, it's tough for old guys like us running around out there, the stopping and starting. I mean, you can glide on ice. It was funny. I was talking to one of the guys on the team, Mark Fleetwood, yesterday, and he goes, "I was going into the corner really fast, and I was trying to figure how am I going to stop?" I'm like,
"Run into the board.
Stop moving your feet." Then you stop because you're so used to being on ice, and it's a whole different game, and it's been a blast though. I think a lot of people were like, because they were expecting one thing, and once you get to a certain age, you don't really change too easily. But playing yesterday, I can't wait till the next time, our next session on Wednesday. So.
And we've seen Steve out here a few times. Your brother Steve. It's a lot of fun to see.
And heard him, I'm sure.
How does it feel to play with your kids, Pete? You got your kids involved the minute you could for the community shift.
It's It's a little annoying because they're bigger, better, and faster than me. But it's really cool to see. When the fact that not only are they out here playing and playing a sport like hockey with your kids. I mean, Mike, with Liam is fantastic. But the fact that they get it, and
right.
that's even more important than being able to play a sport with your kid. The fact that they get why it's so important. But the unfortunate side of that is they get it because they've lost all 4 grandparents to cancer. And that's the thing that binds just about everyone in the community. Someone or love has been affected by cancer, and or worst case scenario, taken by cancer. And with my family, we've had bone cancer, lung cancer, bladder cancer, and it's just throat cancer. It's an insidious disease, and the more you can do, this empowers you because you feel so helpless. Amy, and all the people in Roswell, you're sitting there, and as a family, you go in for that consult, you sit down, and you go through chemo, and you go through everything else, and you just feel helpless. There's nothing you can do. You're hoping that this works, and this is something you can do.
Yeah.
This is you can turn a game that you've loved your entire life into something positive, and hopefully help save someone in the future.
Yeah. Seeing we've said it before, we get to choose research projects, talk to the researchers and the doctors that are doing it, and hear them say what progress they've made with a particular cancer, or in much of the stuff we've given money to as of late has been immunotherapy, which isn't really one specific cancer, but it has potential for many different cancers. So for us, seeing that every year is really important. We don't just write a check and say, see you next year. It's talking to the doctors, talking to the people, and actually having them, listening to them pitch their scientific. Sometimes it's way over our head, but we're sitting in a room. Amy's a part of a committee where we sit in a room, and the scientists are pitching their idea to the other scientists in the room, and they're fighting for funding.
Yeah.
And a lot of that is coming from us, and it's
really
empowering.
Yeah.
And it's amazing. These are some of the smartest people you'll ever be in a room with.
Oh yeah.
Fighting cancer, and we get to help them realize their life's work.
Yep.
It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, no doubt. Smartest people you ever be in a room outside of the locker room on Saturday and Sunday morning. Boy, what a bunch of idiots there are there. Two ends of the spectrum there. But you're right. When you start talking to some of these people that are making a difference and are breaking through in technology and in advancements, and it's mind-boggling that there are people that are that brilliant out there. Mm-hmm. And the fact that they're in our community and in one of the top cancer research institutes, not only in Western New York, but the world. Yeah. It's just, we are so blessed to have Roswell here, to have Camp Good Days. When I was working in Rochester, it was right at the beginning with Gary Mervis and the Teddy Project. Teddy was his daughter who passed away of cancer. And just going out to Camp Good Days and seeing the difference it makes, and just a week out of the summer, and these kids that are battling so hard for 51 weeks, they get a chance to be just a kid, and also realize they're not alone.
Right.
That people all over the place, and then on top of that, you make a wish. There's nothing more heartwarming than when you see a wish granted and what it means to those kids. And now on top of that, with Oshai Children's Hospital, that the facility they've got.
The partnership with Roswell, and that is just incredible. The research, the 12th floor and what they're doing, taking the research at Roswell and then partnering with, the amazing doctors at Children's. It's like.
We had Andrew Bennett on yesterday talking about it.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I mean, my family had frequent flyer miles to the old place on Bryant, and this new Children's Hospital, Oshai, and the connection to the medical campus. It's I don't think a lot of people really have a full appreciation of how special what we have here and what continues to grow here, and the things it gives back from tax dollars and development in our community, but more importantly, what it means to families that are going through, whatever health crisis they're going through.
Yep.
Yeah, the dollars that we raise, we've talked to many doctors over the last couple of weeks at Roswell, and the seed money, the funds that philanthropists, the money that's raised and donated through the 11 Day, $1 turns into $14 for them. And that whole concept of seed money, a lot of people don't understand that. But watching the Roswell videos and talking to the doctors, they explain it in detail, and it's really great that $1 million can go really far.
Yeah, and it's we say I've always said in news that everyone has a story. You talk to you can find a news story. Charles Kuralt used to do it. Go to any town and find an incredible story. Well, you go out on the floor. Everyone here has a story.
Right.
Everyone here has a motivation, a reason they're playing, and one is more powerful than the last. It's just incredible talking to some of the people and why they give, why they put themselves through slipping and sliding on. This is slippery. How did you get concrete slipperier than ice?
I wore my skates.
But it's inspiring, and it's just. So often when you're talking about something like cancer, it's such a heavy subject, and it's so serious. But you come here, and it is so uplifting. There's just smiles everywhere, and because it's a community, and there's no stronger community than the hockey community in Western New York. And it's a community coming together to really make a difference.
Yep.
And you guys pulled that together. You guys are the champions of it. You got that big lasso out, and you brought this all together. And now for the 4th year in a row, for the community, I can't thank you guys enough. The hours you've put into this, the amount of explaining you've had to do with this one, Amy.
We've pivoted a few times. I think that's one of the things, it's so challenging when you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow.
Yeah.
We watch the numbers, and fortunately in our community, the COVID numbers went down. And when outdoor sports were able to happen, that was like ding, ding, ding. Mike, of course, we both want to do something, but he's thinking street hockey.
Right.
Reaching out to Riverworks, they've been more than accommodating. They haven't been able to have any events. But having something outside, and with all of our our safety plan that we've put together, we've been able to really, bring this alive.
Yeah, and you think about that. 5-6 years ago, we didn't have Harbor Center or Riverworks. So you came together with this idea at the perfect time in Buffalo history to make it all work, and we've got the facilities to do it, and we've obviously got the will to do it as well.
I remember when the Harbor Center was being built, Mike and I were driving. Liam was playing for West Seneca Wings, and we had to make that long trek out to the South Towns, and we were passing the Harbor Center being built, and I didn't know what it was. At that time, I didn't watch the news very much, and Mike goes, see that being built? Those are 2 rinks going in, and that's where the world's longest hockey game is going to happen at some point. So it was really, cool to see that building go up, and then in very, very few years, we did the world's longest game there.
I remember when they were talking about developing and building off of Canal Side, and that lot came up, and I told pretty much everyone I could talk to. I mentioned to Mayor Brown, and I just in joking conversation, I said, what would be a gold mine for downtown Buffalo? A big ice facility with a tournament-friendly hotel above it.
Well, thank you.
And I don't think anyone listened to me. It's just happenstance and coincidence that it happened. But when you talk about going into a small town for a hockey tournament and just how the economy revolves around that hockey tournament, the number of people that travel, and I always thought with what was happening on our waterfront, if you just got families here for a weekend with that on their doorstep, it'd make them think, especially in the winter, God, we should come back here and check it out in the summer. And, it's, but again, it's the people that drive it. It's the people that drive this community. City of Good Neighbors is not just a slogan. All you do, you just look at the ice storm. I remember when I came home from work and there's trees all over the place, and I look at my next door neighbor Dan, and his dad was down from the North Country, and the three of us have bow saws in hands, and we're just chopping wood and we had extension cords across the street because one side of the street didn't have power, but we did.
Yep, I remember that.
And it's that spirit. It's also that spirit that drives this. People want to do what they can to help out others. And when you see the sponsorship, when you see the individual donors, when you see the players putting in the time they do to raise the money, it really makes you proud to be a Western New Yorker.
So Pete, as we watch this game, these guys are pretty good. These guys, they're the best we've seen so far. Draft League sponsored by West Hair, and the New York State Police sponsored by the world's largest disco. I don't know if that's a coincidence. When are you playing next, and with who?
I'm playing Wednesday with the Western New York Media All-Stars against GR. And then I've got a back-to-back. I'm playing with Jixter and 97 Rock team.
Oh, nice.
Right after that with the Queen
playing.
City Squirrels.
Yeah, I'm playing on that team as well.
Well, it's funny because every time we do anything like the pond hockey or anything on Daybreak, Queen City Squirrels are kind of – I always joke with them, they're our house band. They're out here any time of day.
I remember they were out here at like 5 in the morning last year.
Yeah, when the Canal Side opening, when we're out here in the morning, they're out there.
Yep.
So when Dave announced that I was playing with those guys, I got all kinds of messages. Like, I thought Pete was an unofficial squirrel. So I said, well, maybe I can switch jerseys at halftime.
Ever since they recruited Andrew Peters, they can only have one tough guy on the team.
And it's a community that laughs together. But these guys are good. I mean,
3-2. The gentleman that was here before, Paul Sanchez, we gave him his jersey. He knew what color he was wearing, and then he announced to us that the guy from the MVP from USA Ball Hockey is playing as we speak.
I didn't know there was such thing as USA Ball Hockey.
But he's here, so we should try to get a hold of him.
It's going to be hard to point him out because everybody's number 11.
I think you should talk to him and recruit him for the Wednesday night game.
Actually, that's a great idea.
Because we need more help. I mean, we've only got Mike Pekka and how many retired NHLers do we have playing with us?
Probably a few, knowing Jixter.
Yeah. So, but to have this going on in the middle of a pandemic, and the funds coming in and going out and helping so many people, it's just spectacular.
Speaking of funds, we should be promoting our website. Did you know that I'm in second place now?
You're in second place. How did that happen?
You better pull out your phone and donate because he's having a hard time with it.
Well, we raised another $1,000 since this interview started. We raised another $1,000, and Bill Chef Lucas, who you know very well, showed up with a couple checks while we were playing earlier today, and he put me like $100 over. He put himself over $100 over me. So then I put out a little promotion of myself on live stream, and
get a little advantage here.
And Andy Tokaz, being the diplomat that he is, gave us both $111,
which really didn't get anybody ahead.
Well, it helped the cause.
Exactly.
So there you go.
Cancer got ahead.
Yeah, the bragging rights didn't go anywhere, but they. But I don't know. What does Bill Shaflukas does he print money? Because the amount of money he raises for this every year is mind-boggling.
So they just surpassed $200,000 in 3 years.
In 3 years.
Unbelievable.
$200,000, including $92,000 this year. Wow. $93,000 now. So they might get to $100,000 this year alone.
Mm-hmm.
That's just unbelievable.
They get super creative.
Yeah.
Bill's a huge motivator. He has very high expectations on his team. Everybody knows going in what they need to do, and he's a great guy, and we're so happy. He was an original 40, so he's been with us, for 4 years now.
He's a little intense. What's going on back there?
There was just a penalty shot.
Oh.
I'm not sure exactly what happened.
Who's ref in this game, Mike?
Patrick Ballantyne is reffing this
Oh.
game.
Didn't he just play the last game?
Yeah.
So he's not watching very closely at this point.
Well, he's
right?
sitting in the scoreboard. He's sitting in the scorekeeper's box. I don't know how well his reffing is going.
Well, that's okay. The job of the referee is to stay out of the way.
So
All my ref friends are saying, okay, well, we're going to remember that. We're going to remember that.
So it's 2-3 right now. So it's a close game.
Yeah,
16 minutes left in the first period.
That's well, our game yesterday morning was pretty close for a while, and that when you're talking an hour and a half worth of hockey, I think we were 11-8. So that's no one was running or moving, so that had something to do with it. But was pleasantly surprised with how much fun it was.
Yeah, I mean, it makes you think back to when you were a kid. And I mean, ball hockey is just ball hockey. It's raw.
Oh, yeah. I don't remember being this sore as a kid. And we'd play like 4 and 5 hours a day.
I thought you moved slowly when you walked up on the set.
Well, yeah, not as slowly as I was out there. Amy was yelling at me for moving slowly.
I know. I
walking to the
grabbed the
bench.
mic. I was trying to motivate you, Pete.
I'm walking to the bench. It's like they say, as soon as you start thinking about retirement, you're retired. As soon as I start thinking about making a change, in my mind, I've already made the change. They were already in play. I could walk to
Yeah,
the bench.
I mean,
I call
the
it
next guy was probably out there already.
I call it the daybreak saunter.
So what time do you have to? Are you on tomorrow?
No. Well, actually,
Tomorrow's Saturday.
So you're off tomorrow.
yeah, I'm off tomorrow.
But sometimes you fill in for people.
I'm on Sunday. I'm filling
I
in
never know
Sunday.
when you're. I mean, during the when we were in lockdown,
Yeah.
I would see you at like 1 a.m.
Yeah, we were all over the place. I'd fill in. Part of it is with so many people working from home, and the first half of the year, no one took a vacation. So now we're getting to the second half. Everyone's trying to get their vacation time, so we're all over the place. I'm filling in on Most Buffalo in the afternoon a lot, and so it keeps life interesting. Doing different shows and different feels. It's kind of fun.
The 11 day might have to be on most.
So, Pete, we talked about your two kids playing hockey, and we didn't talk about Sarah and her volunteering.
Oh, yes.
So we need to, kudos to Sarah for every year.
Thank you, Sarah.
She volunteers her time multiple times. So.
Yeah, and she was, because the demand for volunteers was down this year, obviously, because there's no spectators. So she was all set to go, and so if you need her, she's next door probably eating all my wings. So.
Well, thank you, Sarah. We couldn't do it without all of our volunteers.
Yeah, the number of people that you bring together, it's just astounding.
Pete, thanks for doing this, man. It's really, I mean, we see each other all the time, obviously, but
we're neighbors.
Yeah, we're neighbors, and we like to be social as it is. So it's good to see you. Thanks for doing this. We're gonna do we're gonna look at some highlights from the Greenfield Grinders that played a little bit earlier today. Speaking of fathers and sons, they had a bunch of fathers and sons playing. So thanks a lot, man, and we'll see you at by the Wings.
Yeah, absolutely. If you need me back, just give me a shout. This is fun. And give to Mike's Fund. Because
11daypowerplay.com.
Yeah, just give to both him and Bill.